We are live on a Friday. I'm where I normally am, and Mr. Kaboose is from the fucking Batcave.
TGIF, dude. Thank God it's Friday. Um, Welcome to New Leaf News presents the Legends Clubhouse. As Lawson said, I am Bobby Kaboose with my boy Lawson Turner. Yeah, I'm via satellite today, man. I'm in northern Michigan. Like
Mm,
if you put your I don't know which way palm up for Michigan. If this is Michigan, I'm like way up here.
yeah. Nah.
Um, about a 4 hour drive north of where I'm usually at. So
Mm.
can enjoy the weekend and you know, have a good time up here.
Yeah,
It's a little
no,
chilly. A
it,
little chilly.
it's even more funny because to kind of peek behind the curtain, I'm sitting waiting for the call, for us to get in, and I'm like, I wonder what's taking him so long. And then he calls me and he's just busting out. Mr. Caboose is busting out laughing. I'm like, what? What's wrong? He said, dude, I would have called you earlier. I couldn't find the fucking light switch down
Yeah. Dude, we usually have like technical difficulties from our producers, like as far as our sound effects and
here.
and
Right.
and hear us. But yeah, man, I couldn't find a freaking light switch down here.
The
I,
norm,
I had I had to go back upstairs and be like, I'm sorry, I'm a little slow, but how do you turn the light on?
like the normal joke is, how many jackasses does it take to, screw in a light bulb? The light bulb was already
Exactly.
screwed in. We just couldn't
Yeah,
find
I
the
mean,
fucking
it,
switch.
in my defense, my girlfriend had to come down, and this is her parents' place, and
Yeah.
she couldn't find the light switch either. I mean, she didn't have her glasses on, but we were both down here. Like I was down here for about, probably 5 to 7 minutes, dude, just looking for the light switch, and
That's
you
hilarious.
know, it's sometimes it just be like that. It's
Oh,
it's fine, man. I don't have to
from
work today, so
Oh, that's
we're good.
awesome. Yeah. So your weekend started kind of earlier.
Yeah, yeah, yesterday was my Friday.
Mm,
We drove. We left last night after work. Drove up here. We got here at about 10:30 Eastern time. Took,
yeah.
like I said, about 4 hours, but it was a smooth and steady drive. Except, dude, on the way up here, crazy. And this is probably the. I was telling my girlfriend that this is probably at least the fifth time this has happened to me in my life, where literally the car in front of me um gets in an accident. Dude, the person in front of us, they must have like drifted off as far as falling asleep or something, or on their phone or something. It was a little too early to be drunk unless you have a problem, which people do. But anyway,
Unless you have
they
a
just swerved.
problem.
They just swerved into like or drifted into the barricade in the middle, and dude, they hit. Their front end was all fucked up. Their back end was all fucked up, and then they swerved all the way through 3 lanes or 4 lanes to get to the other side on the shoulder. And this truck behind them and me, this truck just had to go through all their debris and shit. I luckily was able to swerve most of it and run
Yeah.
over a plastic bumper, but luckily I didn't have to. Luckily I didn't get flat tire or anything, and luckily I was able to maneuver around them because they were like literally right in front of us, dude. I had to like. Luckily she was okay, and I just had to take a couple deep breaths
That's
because
insane.
when it's that close, dude, you know,
You said this
going
is
fucking 80 miles an hour,
you said
you
this is the
know.
second time that's ever happened?
No, it's at least the fifth.
Fifth?
Yes.
Have you
And,
Okay,
and
you said
and
it's
two of them were in a UPS truck when I was in a UPS truck. And
have
dude,
you
like like the sliding doors,
Yeah.
right?
Mm.
I had an accident right at like where the door is, and I had to avoid it. Like it was insane, dude.
Debris flying into your UPS
Yeah,
truck.
yeah. I'm like, fuck, dude, I gotta scan this shit too, probably.
That's funny.
But yeah, it was like that when it happened at UPS. It was to a point where I was like pretty shaken up. Like after I was like, dude, like that, because that could have cost my job, and
Yeah.
bullshit. And those
Mhm.
those trucks aren't the safest. They're just a
Mhm.
big hunk of metal. So but yeah, they asked me after if I was still, okay to do my route and all that bullshit, and I was like, yeah, I'm fine. Like,
Yeah.
just give me a minute. So
The funny story actually about like UPS, USPS, stuff like that. So when I first started becoming, friends with my boy who's a USPS, mail driver and stuff like that, I asked, okay, well, I'm just curious, what does it take to get fired? He's like, dude, after you pass your 90 days, you're basically infireable.
oh, the same with the ups, man. They because they're
Dude,
union, so
100%.
it's like unless you steal or did what I did and didn't want your job back. Like even I would even get my job back if I wanted it, but
Hmm.
my body was taking a toll and they were taking a lot. They were taking advantage of me a lot. So
And so,
I'd rather have a life and. I know they make good money. People. There was that meme a couple years ago when they get their new contract going through because
yeah.
they are making top drivers are making close to $50 an hour.
Hmm.
But it takes a long time to get there.
Right.
It take you 10 years to get there. Um, Especially because you're not going to start off as a full-time driver. You're going to have to take a part-time position and
Hmm.
wait till
All
a
that
bid
jazz.
opens. Oh, whatever. But yeah, they there's that meme out there that girls find yourself a UPS driver because they're going to be making 150,000 a year. That's not true. They're going to make around 100,000 a year, but they get free insurance. So that's where like the 150,000 it includes your benefits as far as paid time off and insurance being free, and they don't even take it out of your paycheck. So that is nice about it, but they fucking drive you to death, dude. Pun
Hmm.
intended.
And pun intended. And the hilarious part about it, so he just got transferred to to an in off position at another spot, right? And
Mhm.
so we're talking about it, and there was this girl at his original spot in office. He couldn't fucking stand her. He's like, dude, she fucking sucks at her job. She's always last. I always got to get a piece off of her. Sometimes I'll take two pieces off of her, and I'll still beat her back. And
Dude,
I when he was telling me about the new office, I was like, oh, at least she ain't got to deal with a girl, right? He said, nope, we got somebody probably worse. And I was like, how? And so he said, so there's this person who just got back from a 15-day suspension, and I'm like, suspension for what? He said, dude, she was literally just throwing mail away. And I'm like, what do you mean by throwing mail away? I
this,
said,
this is this is junk mail. This is oh
I, I'm like, bro, what do you mean just throwing, like, just not delivering shit? He's like, no, just throwing it away. I said, there's some struggling families out there that the lights and water getting cut off because she's not delivering the bill, and I'm just like, yo, like, at what point do you just like, nah, fuck this, I'm just gonna throw it
no.
away?
When I first started at UPS, dude, my first Christmas there, we didn't have GPS yet, right? So like
Right.
everything was printed out maps and all that shit, right? So they had me go help another driver. So I'm
Mhm.
done with my route. They had me go take a couple stops off another driver. So I do, and I'm in this trailer park, dude, and if anyone has ever driven through a trailer park that has not lived there, sometimes they can be super confusing.
Mhm.
Like whether it's not no street signs, no or whatever, addresses are funky. Um, so I'm in this trailer park, and I'm like, you know what? I don't know where the fuck this house is, right?
Right.
And so I got to a point where like I was driving around and I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna scan this fucking thing and just put it somewhere. And I just put it somewhere in the neighborhood and like that I thought it was close. And I was like, well, maybe this person can deliver it since it's not there. I don't know what fucking
I don't know. I don't know where
and then
fucking
so,
six two
so I
six
do
is.
that, and the driver of the route yesterday, he's like, hey man, He's like, did you have some trouble? So, and I was like, yeah man, I just kind of put it somewhere, and he's like, all right, he's like, yeah, as long as I know that and I'm like, he's like, cause I need to tell him what happened. I'm like, okay, yeah, just tell him I got lost.
That's so fucking funny. Especially back then when it's just like drawn out fucking maps or whatever, to where like that must have been hell to grab like another piece off of somebody to where it's like, dude, I
Mhm.
don't know your fucking route.
Right, and you basically have to take your phone out and uh put in the address. But also, when I was there, dude, like, so lower the totem pole guys will work a Tuesday through Saturday shift instead of Monday through Friday.
Hmm.
So, I would be on this Saturday shift, dude, and like, it's all depends on seniority. It doesn't matter about skill set or whatever. And like, I was, dude, like, when I say I was probably the best driver of the building, I am not. I'm not being arrogant. I'm not being cocky. Like, I would consistently be like one of the first five drivers back
Hmm.
because like I was in the mindset of like I just want to get this shit done. Like I'm not gonna milk the clock. I just want to go home. So
Right.
let me bust my ass and get back. And so Saturdays I would tell my supervisors, I'm like, look, man, don't make me go help people after because I'm gonna be busting ass to get the fuck out of here, right?
Hmm.
So it would be funny because sometimes they would actually like just watch me as far as track me to see how fast I was going, and they're like, "Holy shit, man, Caboose is really moving on those tracks, right?" So,
Nice pun.
dude, thanks. Saturdays, dude, I used to get so pissed because I would bust my ass, and then, dude, there was like these like two or three drivers that fucking suck, dude.
Hmm.
They would just milk the clock, dude, move super slow. Like, one dude, we were, at the monitor looking at our routes and shit, and
Yeah.
he comes up to me and he's like, "Hey, Bobby," he's like, "Can you believe this? Like, fifth Saturday in a row, different route." And I was like, "Oh, really?" I go, "This is the fifth different route I had this week. Like, don't fucking bitch, dude. Like, go fuck yourself. You have lower seniority than me, and they put you on the same goddamn route every day because you suck ass at your job." Well, so there was two different drivers that I actually made cry at one point because I had to help them like religiously because they would always be
Last.
fucking slow ass and shit, and
Hmm.
like you can't be out until fucking 10 o'clock on a Saturday. Then the supervisor on duty is gonna get questioned on like why are your drivers blowing ass right now.
Yeah.
So they would have me go help these people, and I was like, I had told one, I was like, I go, dude, don't you think this is embarrassing? And he's like, what? And I go, I already finished my route. I have to come and take like a third of yours. I go, and you kind of suck ass at your job. I was like, dude, I would be completely embarrassed if someone had to come help me. I go, so, and he's like, he was like, he said something back to me, and I was like, well, either you're too stupid to do this job or you're incompetent. And he called my supervisor like crying.
Caboose
And
yelling at
I was
me.
mean to him, and I was like, dude, like, I go, what? I go, I don't fucking care, man. You're making me waste my Saturday, and I was trying to get the fuck out of here. So, man up, dude.
From the man of a thousand nicknames, you now have 1,001
Holy boost.
nickname from the chat, the UPS man of your nightmare. Make a grown man
Yeah,
cry, dude. The
I
that
know.
that's so fucking funny because then before my boy left the office that he was at to this one, he said that he called me right after he got off because once again we used to be in calls, but when he works in the office, he can't be on the fucking call all day.
Yeah,
So he called me. He said, "Bro, I may have had the best day at work ever." And I'm like, "Why?" He said, "You know that bitch Ivy I fucking hate that fucking sucks at her job?" I'm like, "Yeah." He said,
she got.
no, he said, "Tell me
Oh,
why." I finally got to tell her on all her shit in front of everybody. I said,
dude,
"Bro, you've been waiting on that day." He's like, "Bro, you have no idea." He said, "Bro, I might go buy 7 tickets to the Powerball, dude. It's fucking great." I said, "Oh yeah, how bad?" He said, "Dude, everyone fucking started to like be a little more tense around me because I chewed her ass out." And I'm like, "Hey, dude, you're now in that
dude,
supervisor position, bro. You gotta let him know this shit can't slide."
Right.
And it was
Uh,
even more funny because when he first started to get trained for a supervisor position, um, I, I would always make jokes like, "I bet your first order of business is going to be to fire her ass." He said, "Oh, if it was up to
yeah.
me, that bitch would have been gone."
100%, dude. 100%. So, big day yesterday as far as the sports world.
Hmm.
We'll get into a couple things. I just watched the highlight of Tyrese Halliburton hitting the game-winning three with point 0.3 seconds left, man. That looked like an exciting game. Unfortunately, like I said, I was traveling up
Yeah,
here, so I didn't get to see any of it. But you were saying before that we went on air, they were down 15 or in the fourth
yeah,
and down 9 with 3 minutes left.
yeah, dude. The game it was so funny because the Pacers felt it was one of those Nick-esque series like the previous two for New York where they would be down the majority of the game. They'd be down within, that 8 to 12 the entire game, and they're just hanging around
Mhm.
because, a double-digit lead isn't what it used to be back in, like the early 2000s where, in the regular season and sometimes in the playoffs, when you're up 15 with 8 minutes to go, people are pulling starters, just
Yeah.
due to the importance of the 3-point shot. And I think it was Ben Shepherd. He threw an inbound to Pascal Siakam. He overthrew it. Jalen Williams for the Thunder caught it, stole it, and then went and dunked it, and then that exploded the lead to 15 with about 9 and change to go. And I'm like, okay, now's when the Thunder are gonna like start to pull away. And I'll be damned if Miles Turner, a 7-foot center, sidestep bank in a three, and then
Any relation?
no, I wish.
No.
On side note on Miles Turner, his TikTok's interesting if you like Legos, because that motherfucker. I understand that these NBA contracts are crazy, but bro just be building Legos all on his TikTok. He's got like a Lego statue of him, and I'm like, damn, it's a big ass statue. Anyways,
Are you
uh,
related to Ted Turner?
to who?
Ted Turner.
I wish I'd have a job
Are
at
you related
TNT.
to that running back? I think
Michael
his name was
Turner,
Michael
yeah,
Turner.
Michael Turner for the Falcons. No,
Yeah.
I don't have the melanin in me. I don't have enough
Are you
melanin in
rela-
my skin.
are you related to Turner and Hooch?
Might as well be Timmy Turner at this point. The
You related to him?
no,
No.
I fucking wish, dude. So,
Everyone with the last name Caboose, I'm related to. So
mm,
that's why I brought that up.
big family track.
Yeah.
I mean tree, but
Bloodline.
and then so like Miles Turner hitting a sidestep bank three. Obi Toppin, after having 3 or 4 dreadful turnovers to start his game one, he makes it rain 5 threes. And Aaron not Aaron Andrew Nimhard for I was talking to my boy about this after the game. So he is the shooting guard for the Pacers, and
Never
he,
heard of him.
huh?
Never heard of him.
I'm about to give you something. So he's been, the starter all year long over the past couple years. He's been one of like the key contributors to like the rise of the Pacers over the past couple years, right? So
Yeah.
last year when the Pacers were in the Eastern Conference Finals, Tyrese Halliburton missed a game. I want to say it was 2-3. It was 2-3 and 4, or just 3 and 4. Can't remember it. Whatever the mix it was. Andrew Nimhard had an exceptional game 3 and 4. I want to say in game three he had 39 and 10, and then in the game that they lost and they ended up getting swept on, he had 34, 8, and like 10. He just had these monster games. And down the stretch in game one last night, it wasn't really a lot of Tyrese because even though he only ended with 14 points and hit the game-winning shot, Andrew Nimhard down the stretch had the ball in his hands. He hit a big step back three over Shea on the left wing to cut the lead down to 3, and it reminded me so much. I'm like, okay, maybe he got the confidence due to Tyrese is the superstar to say, hey, you're cooking, go. But also he was in those moments last year that the team didn't pull through, but being the number one option guy.
Yeah. No,
Hmm.
that just reminds me of Lola Bunny and Bugs Bunny teaming up with Michael Jordan
Yeah,
to
in
take
Space
on the
Jam,
Wild Card.
dude.
They were
Yeah,
underdogs and they ended up winning. So this could be a Monstar situation. I'm not sure. Do you know? I saw the highlight. I might have missed it though. Did Tyrese Halliburton stretch his arm like
To dunk it,
from like half court?
he, he did not drink. What was the stuff that
Mike
the bugs have?
Mike
Was it the
special
secret stuff?
Mike special juice or something.
I was gonna say, yeah, I don't remember if it was
No,
special juice or secret stuff,
it might have been secret stuff. It might have been
something like
secret
that.
stuff.
No, though, but he for as much as, because Tyrese was in an anonymous player poll, he was named the most overrated player in the
Yeah.
league, which is even more funny because and I tweeted out last night on the New Leaf News Twitter that I don't remember a player in recent NBA like history or memory gaining more stock in the player, respect, and stature in the league than Tyrese Halliburton has this postseason. He's been awesome for the entirety of the season, and up to this point, he's 13 for 15 on shots to tie or take the lead in the fourth quarter, or in the last 2 minutes to either tie or take the lead in fourth quarter or overtime. It's He's had these four game-winning shots, including the series ender against Milwaukee, the crazy buzzer beater against the Knicks last night, and then the game-winning shot against the Cavs in round two. Like, I don't remember a player, like I say, gaining as much stock or steam in the league that Tyrese has this postseason.
I can name one, and it's a former Pacer.
Yeah,
That it seemed like he kind of took over overnight, but really hasn't done much since. I thought he was going to be more of a player, which I mean, he's an all-star, but Paul George, right?
yeah,
His stock went through the roof,
yeah.
at one point, to a point where like I even told my buddy, I think this dude's gonna be, league MVP,
Hmm.
at some point in his career, and he's an all-star, but never got to that like top five in the league kind of guy, and it's crazy that both these teams are actually built on trades,
From
that
Paul George.
yeah, sucks for him, right? So,
Yeah,
uh, but yeah, man. Do you think the Pacers have a chance? Like we both thought that
it's
it was
it's
gonna be like 5 games the other way.
yeah, it's really interesting because like the if you're a betting person, which we are, it's so funny because like when the line first opened up, the Thunder were favored by 9.5 in game one. They're favored by
Hmm.
11 in game two, and I think that and then the Thunder will bounce back. The thing that worries me about the Thunder, Shea had 38, which is awesome. He only had 3 assists. What does that mean? No one else is kind of doing anything else,
Yeah,
and it
yeah. Well, Carmelo Anthony games.
yeah, for real. It reminded me when Dallas clipped the Thunder last year, where it's like, okay, we're gonna guard Shea 1-on-1. If he goes and gets 40, he's gonna go get 40. No one else is getting a lick.
Hmm.
Like outside of him, no one was really. I mean, role players in key. There were role players in key spots making like an Alex Caruso steal. Lou Dort hit 5 threes. They won the turnover
Yeah,
battle 24-6, and you still found a way to lose that game.
right. Yeah, but yeah, so I think the Thunder will bounce back in game
Yeah,
two, but the Indy was I think a plus 700 or something to win the series.
yeah.
Um, they you know I'm actually kind of pissed that I'm currently retired from betting because game one would like I could have probably told you game one was going to go Indy's way. Like
A lot of
it just seems
people.
like especially when teams are that heavy a favorite, they come in overconfident. They
Hmm.
especially at home, they're and it's just the perfect like
Storm.
trap game, I
Yeah.
guess. So I would have. I also said this last night to my girlfriend's dad that I would have probably at the beginning of the season would have put everything I owned um, to bet that the Detroit Tigers wouldn't have the best record in baseball after 60 games as well. So maybe not taking my advice, but you
Yeah.
know,
The it's interesting that you bring up the Tigers because the goat Scooble's pitching today. So
versus the Cubs, who are
mhm.
very good against left-handed pitchers.
They're
So
also very good on the road. I was working on a
yeah,
betting article, and it will be up shortly after this episode is done. And yeah, so I was looking at their splits and stuff like that, and it's really funny to me because like you can have great splits against lefties and on the road.
Mhm.
However, when that how tall Scooble 6'4", 6'5", he's a
Yeah,
when that big
boy.
fucker's on the mound and doing that high ass leg kick, it's
It's
just
different.
it hits
Um,
different.
it does hit different, but I do think as far as the Tigers are concerned, like I think they're gonna cool off a little bit. Like
You just got that feeling.
I just have that feeling, man. They just split against the White Sox. They didn't play particularly good. Um, it's just they're not putting these long strings of wins together. They are
Hmm.
winning series, which is important, but I think they do cool off a little bit here. And it's inevitable, dude. You can't have a 162 game season where you're just on fire the entire
Hmm.
season. So I would rather have them cool off right now and get back hot, towards the end of the summer and
Hmm.
and kind of play 500 baseball in between. But we'll see.
Riley Green has been to me like one of the standout players all season in like the entire MLB because like once again you take a left fielder who caught fire last year and
Yeah,
it's like okay, is this the new norm or is this just a hot streak? And because I think
right.
they had what a 0.01% chance of making the playoffs before they
Yeah,
fucking went on a tear. And it's
yeah,
like
and
okay, is
that was when Baez left the team. Like he was like they put him on the IL for the rest of the year,
yeah.
and everyone thought he was gonna be DFA'd or whatever. But he's got such a big contract, so they're like whatever. We're
And
not gonna get rid of him.
instead they
So
moved him to center field and he's been just as
yeah.
happy as fucking ever, dude.
Well, there's rumors about Detroit possibly trading for Bo Bichette.
That would be
If
awesome.
he is not going to be a Blue Jay after this season, so he is a rental with the possibility of extending. But
Hmm.
and you won't have to give up the Tigers won't have to give up much to get him. I mean, in baseball rentals, you don't have to give them a top 100 prospect. Like you can get away with probably giving two lower guys and maybe some cash or something. But that would be a great addition.
Hmm.
You can literally put Bochette in anywhere in the lineup. That's what the Blue Jays kind of do. He bats like pretty much 1 through 5.
Yeah.
Wherever on any particular day, or at least he used to. So. And versatile player, he can play, a couple, probably all three infield positions.
Hmm.
But we do need with Trey Sweeney kind of slowing down and Baez, not as hot as he was. I would rather have Bo Bichette at short,
Hmm.
or throw whoever at second,
And
At second for Glaber sometimes. But I think they need to go get him
hmm
if he's available, and he should be available because, like I said, they chose pretty much Vlad Guerrero over him in the offseason, and
yeah.
he notably like said that he wanted out of Toronto, so he is not going to be re-signing with them at all on the offseason. So he'll probably be the biggest trade deadline name here next month. So
He's also won a
we'll see.
batting title over the past like couple years. Correct me if I'm
Yeah,
wrong, right? Yeah, I was gonna say because
yeah,
I could have
yeah.
sworn he bat like 312 a couple years ago and won a batting title. And I'm like,
Mhm.
that's insane. It's
Mhm.
especially in such a lower baseball market that Toronto is.
Yeah. Well,
When the team's awesome, the city's awesome because Toronto is a
yeah,
big market in the grand scheme of things. Like the Maple Leafs and stuff like that.
yeah.
But for baseball, when they're a middle of the pack team like they have in the past couple years, it's like there's just a lackluster because like Vladdy's awesome, but he can only do
Right.
so much. The addition of Max Scherzer, he's a clubhouse guy, but he's not moving the needle anymore.
Right. Well, the thing is too is like you have these teams like whether it's the Blue Jays and the Orioles or the Rockies. you're in these divisions with teams that spend money, and when you don't,
It
like, it's just hard to
shows.
compete. Like, yeah, it's just hard to compete, and like, it's a lot of times there's good baseball, and there's very bad baseball. So there's not much, you get the in between is it's like almost like the middle class in America, right? The middle class is kind of diminishing and it's going to, upper class and lower class. And
Mhm.
that's kind of how it is with baseball. Like it's just separating the two because, there's teams that are willing to spend money and there's just teams that don't. And, the teams that don't, it really shows, especially
Mhm.
like if you don't have a desirable place like it, like, uh, in the NBA, Miami Heat are always like a desirable place because it's in South Beach. Why not? But like baseball, it's like, okay, you can make that a marketable thing, but they don't spend money. So,
Yeah.
it's what it is.
I was gonna say because they haven't had. Speaking of Miami, they haven't had like anybody like a superstar per se since. I mean, for as for what I mean, other than Jazz a couple years ago, and once again,
Right.
you can only be a superstar so much when you're batting like 213. Cause like
Right.
he was marketable and awesome, made the cover of MLB The Show a couple years ago, but once again, it's the name and hype was a lot 100%. The name and stature was higher than his play on the field, and before that, it was like Giancarlo in the mid late 2000s.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good point. Actually, his name was Mike Stanton at first. But
Wow.
yeah, and then I don't know, well, I forget, why they called him Mike, and then he changed it to Giancarlo. But
The more you
anyway,
know.
yeah. So he was known as Mike Stanton for the first couple of years of his career
Hmm.
in Florida or
Interesting.
Miami. But speaking of big money, I don't know if it's big money, but that stupid team that's hanging on your wall made a big move yesterday.
You did.
Not unexpected. It was pretty expected that the Zen Master Aaron Rodgers is now your quarterback. And I saw you tweet out something stupid like saying yes. That
Right.
was a dumb tweet on your end. But I'm curious, everyone compares Aaron Rodgers to his who's it, predecessor, the person before you,
Yeah.
Brett Favre,
Hmm.
so they compare him, he's been compared to Brett Favre his entire career. Brett Favre didn't really work out for the Jets. Aaron Rodgers didn't work out for the Jets. Do you think Aaron Rodgers pulls his Minnesota Favre out?
It I it's so funny because I shit on Aaron Rodgers all year last year, and one of my when all this news came out, there's the overreaction where I'm trolling my boys. I'm like, oh, it's over for the rest of the league, and then they're
Yeah,
like, Lawson, you're so fucking annoying because you were shitting on him all last year, and I'm like, you're right, but now he's mine. So I gotta defend him, and he's beautiful and shiny now. No, though, but realistically, the only word I can use is hopeful. Like
yeah,
he's 41, so there's not really outside of Brady, and I don't think he's gonna have like a 41 age. I don't think he's gonna
right,
age as graceful as Brady was, because even when Brady went to Tampa in his 40s, he was still an elite level quarterback. Almost won
right.
MVP when Rodgers won MVP in 2020. The It's interesting due to there's still the rumblings that the Steelers are speaking to teams trying to get another offensive playmaker next to I was about to say George Pickens next to
Yeah,
DK, and I'm like, oh, you mean like George Pickens like we had 2 months ago? Oh yeah,
right.
as Donald Parham, our third string tight end, tore his knee, Achilles, I don't remember which one, something in his leg, and he's gonna be out for the year. And so there's the rumblings of Steelers are talking to the Dolphins about Johnny Smith. I'm like, dude. Pat Fryermuth, solid to above average tight end. Darnell
Mhm.
Washington, athletic freak, underutilized, who apparently lost 10 to 15 pounds the offseason to look, a lot more nimble. And, from everything that, you saw in the voluntary OTAs, look solid, fine. It's really going to come down to how Aaron is, because there's not a shadow of a doubt that I still believe that maybe he can, channel it in one more time. However,
Um,
because
so
continue.
what? Sorry, not cutting you
No,
off,
you're
but
good.
So, what is the state of their offensive line? Like, do they have a decent offensive line?
It's young and up and coming. Like last
Is it better
year,
than the Jets last year?
me, you, and three other UPS drivers could be better than the revolving door of the Jets last year.
So yeah, I mean, I think that was the biggest issue over there.
Uh huh.
The offensive line, just like the Bears with Justin Fields, that was the biggest thing over there too. So
Yeah.
with a even with a middle of the road offensive line, I think as long as he has protection, like I mean, he still made some good throws last year, right?
Mm.
They also, I believe, were looking at Gabe Davis. Am I wrong?
Gabe Davis
They
was
were
in
looking at
Pittsburgh
him.
the other day for a visit. I haven't seen anything about anything contractual. I also saw a couple weeks ago they were calling about Chris Olave from the Saints, and
Mm.
you know, but
Well,
that would be that's going to cost you a chunk of change, even though he has some concussion issues.
yeah, so I mean, I saw this graphic. They used to say the players went to the desert to die, in Arizona, but now I feel like Pittsburgh is where receivers go to die. Um,
That or
you know, and,
Baltimore, just up in the north, or
yeah,
Tennessee. You know,
yeah, Tennessee's another one because you had what like Darius Hayward Bay. There was a ton of guys. I was like, oh man, I forgot like these high-end draft picks for receivers all went to Pittsburgh and they all didn't do shit.
the
So,
it's also like we draft receivers really well, and then we get rid of them. It's almost
and,
right on time, which
yeah, like
is
going right into their prime.
dude for real. And like we had Plexico Burris, and I don't. Once again, I was fucking barely alive and wasn't giving too much of a
Mhm.
shit about football then,
Spike Lee.
huh?
They called Plexico Burris Spike Lee because of his first catch.
Oh, was that the
You know?
one? Was that the one against? What was it Baltimore where he spiked
Oh,
it down?
yeah,
Yeah,
and he
and
didn't wasn't.
yeah,
Yeah,
jackass.
they were calling him Spike Lee.
Like you have players like Emmanuel Sanders, Mike Wallace, Antonio Brown. We're now going to see if there's yet to been a receiver that we let go, trade away, whatever, that just goes and balls out. Yes, AB won a Super Bowl post Pittsburgh. However, that has continued to be like, a consistent, a borderline all pro player and stuff like that. And it's funny I brought up AB because according to AB on Twitter or whatever platform he said it on, don't remember. Aaron Rodgers like last month apparently asked him if he was interested in coming back, and I'm like, for as much of a crazy shit show as it would be, yes, let's get Rodgers, DK, and AB in the
You know,
locker.
Tomlin wouldn't do that shit, dude. He wouldn't get. But whatever happened to what's his name, Deontay Johnson? Wasn't
He
he? I don't know
he
why I said Johnson so weird,
Yeah,
but
he went once. That's another one. We sent to Carolina. He was released from Carolina, went to Baltimore, played a couple games, and got released from Baltimore. He's now on the Browns, and if I remember correctly, he missed like the majority of like voluntary OTAs.
well, it's true with running backs too. I mean, Le'Veon Bell was never the same after.
And
Rashad Mendenhall wasn't the same after.
yeah.
Even James Conner. I know he's had some success in Arizona,
Hmm.
but and
Yeah.
then wasn't there a more recent dude, or was Connor the last one?
James Conner was the last
We'll
one.
say Najee Harris. We'll see if he does
Oh,
well. But
in the
Najee's with the
Chargers.
Chargers. I think he'll be all right because of Jim Harbaugh's identity of
Hmm.
running the ball. I think he'll be all right over in I was about to say San Diego, but Los Angeles.
Our,
Um,
our back in my day, they were the San Diego Chargers.
back in my day, we
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 get
had we had a different Cleveland Browns. Oh man,
back
can you hear
when
that?
no,
Okay, they're doing. There's workers here,
that's
so there was
funny.
just a drill going. So you
Ima-
couldn't hear the drill.
no, imagine they come downstairs and invade. It's like, hey, bro, you're live in front of the world, dude. The
So you can hear that right now?
no,
Okay, good. I was surprised because it's kind of loud, like, and but okay, all right.
Um,
But I do
what?
have a question for
Oh,
you, man.
continue.
So, non-sports related, since we kind of covered what was hot in the sports.
Mm.
I actually tweeted this out, I think yesterday or the day before. Dude, so people are starting more and more, and I don't know if it's just because I've been looking at them more and it's getting in my algorithm, but I've been seeing more and more math problems online. And I'm like, all right, I'll try to, if I like, most of them are like just, simple like order of operations type questions,
Long
dude.
division stuff like that to see like
Not even long division. It'll be like, something plus something times something divided by something, and basically you have
to
to just
see,
do order of operations.
and there
You
will
know,
be like the four questions, which one's the right answer. In the comments, you'll see the amount of dumbasses that just don't do it.
they don't even like a lot of them that I see don't even have the multiple choice. But like, dude, the amount of people that get these wrong, and I just want to, I literally
Piss
want to just
me
comment on all of them.
off.
I'm like, dude, it's becoming like an obsession for me. Like, I'm like, these people are so fucking stupid. Like, you don't know PEMDAS or yeah, PEMDAS
Yeah,
or please use my dear Aunt Sally. You
mm,
don't know that
dude, for
shit.
real.
Like it's unreal. And like people like will try to like explain why the answers like I'm like, no, you're wrong. Like you go it's just it's funny to me like that how many people like and like some of the answers like usually like it'll be like a very popular like three or four answers, but sometimes you get like shit you're like
Off
what
the
the fuck, dude.
dude, the amount of off the wall shit is insane.
Yeah, yeah.
I remember a couple years ago when my sister was still in school. She would need help with her math, and I'm a math whiz. And so I'd fucking go and help her, and she would like be explaining how she was being taught, and I'm like, what the fuck are they teaching you, child?
Yeah, they have a term for it. I don't want to say it's called new math, but it's like yeah, it's
And I'm
like the dumbest shit ever, and I'm like, no,
it,
but
it's
yeah,
crazy.
I just can't believe like it's the order of operations that really gets me because that's what all these ones are. They're not super difficult, but like you do need to just know
The
what to do first,
order.
and people don't like, and I'm like, how do you not know this? And the thing is too is like I never thought that I went to a good like looking back like I probably went to a great school district, but like I'm like do these people just like are they just in terrible like situations where these educators like just suck, or are they just dumbasses
The
going
amount.
on with this shit? Because it's like
Mhm.
I've known this shit since seventh grade, or at least probably seventh grade, if not earlier. Like I think that's when you learn the order of operations, right,
Bro,
or something
I
like
I remember learning the order operations in fourth grade, and we had like a cute little
that.
song for it and stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, we always, it wasn't PEMDAS at the time. It was please excuse my dear Aunt Sally.
Yeah,
And, the parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division from left to right, and adding and subtracting.
dude,
And like
for real.
people that like, so what they'll do is like, I saw this one that it was like number divided by number times parenthesis like 5 plus 4 or whatever. So people were doing the parentheses first. Okay, that's fine. But then they would multiply, the whatever was in the parenthesis with the number next to it. And I'm like, you don't do that yet. Like you have to divide first because it's left to right.
Right. It
I'm like,
One of the biggest things that I was explaining to my sister when I was trying to help her, in school and stuff like that. I'm like, the thing about numbers, you can manipulate them however you want. Is there's no one.
mm,
That's the best thing to me about math and stuff like that is to where like there's not one right way to get an answer.
right.
But there is a lot of wrong ways you can fucking do it,
Yeah,
and if you don't follow PEMDAS, your ass is
right.
grass.
Right. Yeah, like I think people forget that like with the multiplication and division, or adding and subtracting. Obviously, you do the multiplication and division before adding and subtracting, but you have to do like if it's on the same level as far as adding or subtracting or multiplication or division, you have to do left from right. Like it's not like that's where I think people get confused maybe on the PEMDAS
because it's like
because they're like, oh,
they
well, it's multiplication then division, but no,
right.
it's left to
What
right on that
yeah,
part.
whatever one's first.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
it
it's
when
it's crazy.
when did you first start getting little like not antsy? Well, when did you first start seeing these?
It's really amped up within the last couple weeks, but like I mean, it's been a
Yeah,
while. It's probably been around since social media has been around, but like,
yeah.
I just like the amount of wrong answers, and like I said, like it's like I don't know if it's becoming more popular or if it's just because I've been paying attention more that it's on my algorithm now,
Mhm.
but like I'm just seeing it all the time, and like for me, like I try to keep my brain straight a little bit. So like
Yeah.
I enjoy solving the puzzles and shit and doing that. And um like I'll be like, okay, I'll try to figure out the answer. And I'm like, okay, like, I can do a lot of quick math in my head. So I'll figure out the answer and then I'll go in the comments and be like, okay, this is the answer I got, and I'm pretty sure I'm 95% sure it's right. And then I'll look at the comments and I'm like, what the fuck?
How
Like,
the fuck did you people get these numbers?
yeah,
Dude,
yeah. And I'm like,
the amount of time where like the thing that confuses a lot of people that I see it's when the fucking parentheses come up. It's like people lose their
mhm.
fucking minds.
Oh, dude, and I hate when people call them brackets. Like I'm
It's
like they're
it's
not
two different things, you,
bracket.
you melons.
A
That's like
bracket is that.
yeah,
It's not that.
people are just
Like
fucking
I just
stupid.
like because like some people call PEMDAS BEMDAS because of brackets first, and I'm like, no, no,
It's a
no,
P, not a B. It
exactly.
it only gets the top. It doesn't get the
Yes,
second one.
yes. I know we're in Pride Month, but they get no bottom,
And we're canceled. GG's guys, it's
and we're
over.
canceled.
Thanks.
Oh,
They get no
yeah.
bottom is
All right.
crazy. That's
Hey,
hilarious.
Pride Month.
No, no,
It's
but it
June.
just it is June. It
It is June.
it makes me really nervous for society and like people in general that I'm like if you can't do like middle school math minimal
Right.
like I don't think being a cashier at McDonald's, I don't think they got the hamburger button anymore for you dumbasses to push. You gotta
So
do a little bit of math,
I'm
dude.
we're a
That's too
little bit of
funny.
different generation, right?
Right.
So was there a saying in school that teachers used to say to you? Because like I'll give you an example because like when I was in school, they'd be like, you're not always gonna have a calculator in your pocket, so
Dude,
you're gonna have to learn this.
it
And like now, obviously everyone's got a fucking
right.
phone and calculator in their pocket. So is there anything like that that they had,
The
you know, emphasize that in school for you?
that it was like that to start, and then calculators got introduced in like seventh grade, and I was the most because I like to
Well,
work
you're
my
talking graphing calculator, right?
yeah and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm just
Yeah.
talking about like a
Oh, in
normal,
general,
like, you're gonna have to know mental math. You're gonna have to know how to figure this out and all that
yeah,
shit.
they were preaching that on when I was in elementary school. Yeah, even with the graphic calculator too and stuff like that. When you had to do stuff, I was the most anti-calculator motherfucker because I wanted to write it and work it out on paper, and then numbers will only get so big to a point to where I'm fucking working it out, and everyone else is well, not everyone else is done, but it's like I'm fucking working it out crazy, and my teacher, was, coming out. They're like, Lawson, you can just calculate it, right? And I'm like, I know, but I want to work it out because that's how my brain, blah, blah, blah. It's the work harder,
Just
not
wasting,
smarter.
you're
Yeah,
just wasting time.
dude, for real. It's even more funny because my seventh grade math teacher, she was so dope, and fuck, I wish I could remember her name. The she when how for like your first day she's going through all the names and just all that shit. When she got to my
Yeah.
name, she was like Lawson. I was like present, like what? And then and then she fucking looked at me. She was like, I was gonna name my son Lawson because I never taught one. I was like, oh, well, I don't know what awkward ass comment you want me to say now, because I'm like, I don't know what the fuck you want from me, lady.
Yeah, that's yeah. All right. Did he
Dude,
want you to be the baby daddy or something?
I don't
You
fucking
want
know.
to be Lawson Jr.?
I don't fucking know, dude. The
Does anyone ever call you LT?
when I was younger, yeah,
Probably because you had a crack problem.
I,
But
it was
just
cocaine. The
well,
cocaine, yeah,
I
dude,
no, it's funny because like he's in the movie Waterboy, right?
yeah,
And he like after he's explained like how the center snaps the ball, and it takes him 15 minutes to explain it. LT's line is like, and that gets to my next point, kids, don't do drugs. And like as that movie came out, like he was getting busted for
yeah.
cocaine or crack or whatever the hell he was doing.
It was even more funny too, cause a couple years ago, me and some boys, we are just goobing around talking about whatever. We get into like his whole like scandals and stuff like that, and
Mhm.
apparently he got set up with like a underage prostitute who was a cop, and I'm like, yo, what?
Wait, how? Well, obviously the prostitute wasn't a cop if she was underage.
No, it was set up like she was an underage
Yeah.
prostitute, but she was a
Oh,
cop.
okay.
Yeah.
So, but she was old enough.
Yes.
Yeah, they're not gonna find a child to be a cop. So that's what I'm saying.
Could you imagine you get pulled over? You just see some dude's little
Like,
forehead walking by your
yeah.
dash.
Hey, what the fuck?
Yeah, but LT dude, for the amount of can you separate the art from the artist? It's like the Carl Malone stick.
Yeah, man. I I have like a sneeze coming on.
you
Yeah,
don't
now I'm yawning.
you don't fucking
I'm
know.
I'm screwing up this whole last
Yeah.
segment of the show.
Oh, real
Like
quick,
I'm
and I don't think I asked you about this. So, big wrestling guy.
yes.
Did you see that John Laurinaitis is going to work with the person who's doing the lawsuit against Vince McMahon?
Yeah, I haven't really been paying attention, but I did hear that. I mean, it's probably, a plea deal for him.
Yeah, 100%. Cause like
But
for as
I
much,
also
oh,
I
continue.
also don't think much is going to come of this lawsuit. Like Vince McMahon just opened up his own company. It's called
Hmm.
like 14th and I or something.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be like an entertainment company,
Hmm.
sports and entertainment company, and I don't think he would be doing this if there would be like if he had the inklage that this
This lawsuit's finna go sour.
lawsuit is going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
So
I it was just interesting to me because once again I remember when I was big in wrestling, like in that 2012-11 period, when like he was like when Laurinaitis was like the GM of Raw and stuff like
the
that.
people power
The
thing.
God, that fucking one of my boys, he could do like just the perfect John Laurinaitis people power, fucking little dumbass
People power.
do for real.
People
And then
power.
yeah, it was the when I saw the headline, I'm like, oh fuck, that's not good for old Finn.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm excited for Money in the Bank tomorrow.
It
We're
is
gonna be watching.
tomorrow.
Um,
There's
I
also
think
UFC fights tomorrow too.
Yeah, I think Roxanne Perez is gonna win the Money in the Bank for the women.
Yeah.
Uh, did you hear about that shit though?
No.
About someone made a Twitter account, and I don't think it's still up. I think it got banned or blocked or whatever. It was called "Is Roseanne or Is Roxy Dead" or something. Is Roxy dead yet or something like that?
Yo,
And
what?
and it wasn't just flat out that it was like dead with like a three instead of e,
Yeah.
whatever. But they fucking put her address out, her home address, and they were like counting down days, and like so she was
Yo,
like
what?
freaking out and shit, and like people are like, oh my god, like you know we hope you're okay and all this shit. I'm like, dude, like that's fucked up, man. Like put somebody's address out on on Twitter like that or on X.
Because now you know it's in Reddit forever.
Right. Right. And so yeah, it's
All it takes is one sicko or super fan to screenshot it. Boom, they got it forever.
right. And people were like, she better have Judgment Day around her all the time. But yeah,
That's funny
so
too.
I think she wins the women's. It seems like she's been getting a pretty good push. She
Hmm.
was, I think, the runner-up to the Royal Rumble, and she's, been doing good things since coming onto the scene, off of NXT. And the men's is kind of up in the air, man. I could see Seth Rollins winning, but I think CM Punk might cost him. Um, but with that new faction, it makes sense for Seth Rollins to win.
Hmm.
Um, I actually would love if El Grande Americano won. Or no, yeah, is he in it? Or it's Chad Gable? One of those two. I think it's El Grande Americano. It would be great if he won. I think Andrade is probably the only one that doesn't really have a chance.
Yeah.
Um, LA Knight, I would love. I don't. I'm hoping it's LA Knight, but I think it might be. I'm missing a couple. I know Penta's in the match. I don't think he'll win it yet. Which I think him and Andrade, are there for high spots.
Hmm.
But it's kind of a toss up, man. Usually you can,
Kind of
usually you
whittle
can
it
kind of
down.
point. Who, yeah, I'd love to say LA Knight. Um, and Solo's in there too. I don't think Solo will win. I think he's just in there to be in there. But
Yeah, for fluff.
I guess I'll go with who I want. I'll go with LA Knight. They need to put him over.
We do have a question from the chat. Do we think Truth is gone, or storyline slash plot?
I th- I think he's gone, but I think they're gonna turn it into a story.
Yeah.
I think he will come back. There was reports that they lowballed him and things like that. There's also reports that like Jonathan Coachman believes that Triple H is going to be out of creative within 18 months.
I saw
Um,
I saw that there's a big like there's a not power struggle, but it's like between him and The Rock and TKO and all that stuff that's
yeah,
going on, and I'm like, that's interesting because I thought Triple H had been doing a great job.
right. And I also it kind of also has me worried that like TKO wants to go in a direction that like is more like isn't wrestling. You know what I mean? Like because they have UFC too, and
Hmm.
like I just have this weird feeling that it could like kind of ruin wrestling a little bit. Like
Yeah.
not to like say that John Cena is going to be responsible, but maybe John Cena knows TKO will ruin wrestling, and that's why they're doing this storyline. But no, I do hope that the R-Truth thing is a storyline because what should happen is Cena should come out tonight and say that he was the one that got R-Truth fired. That should be number one,
The
and because
booze
people
would,
boo the shit out of him, right?
yeah.
Be like, I never liked the guy, he was an idiot, whatever, thinking he's my number one fan or whatever the hell. And then Truth should come back and help Cena at some point to retain, and R-Truth is then a heel, and he could be like not like a badass, but like he could have like a mean streak and be like, you
Yeah.
guys thought, for years I was just a fucking idiot, and I was trying to entertain you guys. So I think it could be a great storyline if they bring him back, and I think they will eventually.
Did
Just maybe in the next couple months, because even like Braun Strowman, they
yeah.
made a deal with him already. Like he's gonna be coming back. He got a show on USA because
Hmm.
of WWE, and his releasing. So like he's already like in the works of probably coming back in the next few months.
Did you see the
So
Rhea Ripley stuff with her shirt?
mm-mm.
So
Oh,
apparently in the backstage of Raw,
he's wearing the R-Truth
she
shirt.
was wearing the R-Truth shirt, and apparently people in the back, executives, people in the back, they didn't want any Truth
Yeah,
chants, shirts, or anything. So she posted on whatever social media platform it was, her
yeah,
leaving early in a dress instead of the R-Truth shirt, and a lot of people are
yeah.
like, "Damn, they don't want him anywhere near the building."
Yeah, and too, like it could be like, I mean, if they were smart, this would be the storyline. Like, and John Cena would be behind it and be like, you know what, and this is, I heard this, I wrote an article about it for New Leaf News, and then happened to be discussed on Bully Ray's show, the Busted Open
Mm-hmm.
podcast or whatever, or show, radio show. And I told my buddy, I was like, Bully Ray took my idea. I know Bully Ray didn't. I know Bully Ray doesn't pay attention to me, right? So he didn't
Right.
read my article and all this shit. We just happen to have the same kind of
Idea.
idea. And he even said like, so I'm repeating what he said because um, I didn't have this part of it. I had our truth, like, helping Cena in the future. But yeah, he made a good point that Cena should come out, tell them that, tell the fans that he's the one that got him fired. Tell him that he called The Rock, because
Right.
he sold his soul. We never saw him, The Rock again yet. So he had called The Rock, made a favor, and been like, I want this guy out. And then you twist it into, okay, Cena's an asshole, and down the line, our truth comes out, thinking you're thinking that he's gonna take out Cena for doing that, but he helps him, and he becomes a heel as well. So.
That'd be great.
But then I also saw that I don't know if I shared that tweet with you or you shared it with me or I just screenshotted and sent it to somebody else. But someone said that he should sign with AEW and kind of just look lost in the background. They don't mention anything, and then he just all of a sudden starts going to former WWE guys, and he's like, "Hey, where have you been?"
Dude, that would be so fucking funny. Like,
Yeah,
just him with, like, his duffel bag and just looking around and walking off
right.
screen. And,
Yeah,
because once again, if you're showing a promo, someone in the background, the crowd pops, and then
right.
nothing happens, and everyone's like, what the fuck happened, bro?
Yeah. And you could literally do that with every segment backstage. Like he
I,
could be in
I'm not,
he could be in 5 segments a night.
dude, I'm not kidding. If I was Tony Khan, I would 100% do that. And then there'd be even times where his music would pop. He'd come out to the, like, middle of a match. His music would
Yeah.
pop. He'd come out to, like, the stage and then just look confused and then just walk back and just walk to the back
Dude, I would sign him to like a 3 month contract
and
and
milk
do
the
it for
fuck
three
out of
months
it.
and do it for 3 months, almost like, at least once a show that he, like you said, it hits his music and he comes out and he's like kind of just wrong arena type thing.
Dude,
And
for
then
real.
segments in the back. And then the last maybe, 2 weeks, he starts running into WWE guys and he's like, where you been? And then he just disappears.
Once again, he didn't even. We don't even want a match in
Right.
AEW. All just be a backstage goober, and yeah,
Yeah.
once a show has music pop out, like you said, oh, wrong arena, and then fucking leave. There was one time, I think last year, the year before, they were in a certain state, but whatever. I don't remember if it was Georgia or whatever it was, but he tweeted out saying, "Oh, wrong Georgia or wrong whatever,"
Yeah.
like he flew over there. And a lot
Yeah.
of people were like, "Truth, you fucking jackass." It'd be something
Yeah.
like that to where music pops, come out, and then just look confused, or he could have a mic to say, like, "What's up," and then just turn around and walk away, just mid
See,
"What's up."
I was about to get to the what's up because that's probably that might be trademarked. So he could come out, and be like, "How's it going?" and being like, "That don't sound right" or something, and then just leave.
That would be so fucking funny. And Tony Khan, if this ever makes it to you, dude, just like Bobby Caboose said, 3 months, don't even need a match. Just put him in backstage of every single promo for the next three
Yep.
months, and then within the last week and a half, just have him talk to the former WWE guys, like, "Hey, where you
Yeah.
been?" Like, dude,
Yeah.
have him talk to Edge, and him be like, "Oh, my name's Cope now." Who? And then
Yeah.
just walk. You're not Edge.
Yeah,
Just walk
and so
away.
and it would be cool because like they could even do it with what would even be better is if they did it with TNA. If TNA had more ex WWE guys, I know they have like the Hardy Boys and
Yeah.
Dolph. Um, what would be even better is if you went to TNA, because TNA is affiliated with
WWE.
WWE now.
Yeah.
And so what he could do at that 3 month thing, when he's saying to the ex WWE guys, oh, you look familiar, or where you been or whatever. The very last time you see R-Truth on TNA, he could be like, oh, well, I'll see you guys at home, and
Yeah,
then
and then the internet blows up. He's going
yeah,
back.
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
that's funny.
So and then like he comes back and like it could be like just like they bring him back after the 3 months, and the first time he comes out, he looks like he's like time traveled or some shit, like just just Doc Brown type fucking just something like just or comes out in like a space suit or some shit, or
his
like just something stupid and just being like,
his
yeah,
clothes
man,
are all
I've been,
his clothes are all ripped up. It's like fucking
yeah.
Scrat from the Ice Age traveling through dimensions, dude.
Right,
That'd be
right. Yeah,
so
it would
funny.
be awesome, dude. It would be super cool. But yeah, I hope they do something with that.
Hmm.
But other than that, man,
Yeah, I
you got
think.
any plans for the weekend?
I'm excited for Game 2 of the Stanley Cup Finals this tonight. That'll be fun. I
Yeah.
need I need the Panthers to get me back in our bet because they were up 3-1 in the second period, and then they kind of blew it away. And I told you Brad Marchand could goober that shit up, and he scored a goal in Game 1. You know, it'll be another exciting game tonight.
Yeah, who's the only thing better than a wet cycle is a dry cycle. So,
That was good.
with that game winner the other day.
Yeah. It was
But
even more crazy because yeah, he scored like a minute into the game too.
mhm. Yeah, and it was like what 30 seconds left of overtime or
Well,
something.
yeah,
Which
yeah.
obviously they're going to be going into a second overtime
Hmm.
if he doesn't score there. But yeah, other than that, man, we're gonna just be chilling up here. It's a little chilly. It's gonna be like around 60 degrees all weekend, so it is a little on the chilly side, but it's a nice getaway. She's got to work today, so I'll be just kind of hanging out. I was thinking about going golfing, but I'm not sure.
Mm.
But other than that, man, for people that
Wait,
want to, huh?
wait.
Wait,
Nerfies.
Nerfies. Oh, dude, 7-3, man.
Yeah, dude.
7-3.
We're rocking and
Um,
rolling. Give
Nerfy,
me.
Nerfy.
I I got one. You know what? The old
What's the
ex-
date today?
Today's the
Sixth.
sixth. The old expression, go out on a limb. That's where all the fruit is. Give me the Dodgers, and the Cardinals. Uh,
Well, your
Justin,
streak just came to an end.
huh?
Your streak just came to an end.
Yeah, I know, right? It's Justin Robels Robelski for the Dodgers. He
I didn't
has
say
he has an 8 ERA.
what
He Listen,
really telling the people.
he had a hiccup 2 games ago, okay? Other than 2 starts ago, he hasn't given up a single run. He had all 8 in one game. He's allowing a 222 batting average against the Cardinals lineup, and for the Cardinals, it is Sonny Gray, who has been solid this year with a 6-1 record, a three
I
six
feel like
five.
you're like obsessed with Sonny Gray.
There's just a handful of pitchers that over the past couple years that I love betting with.
So like if I ever when uh I'll mention this later. So but you'll know what I'm saying. So the okay, so I'm gonna take the Royals and White Sox. It's
Hmm.
a 7:40 Eastern time start. Seth Lugo is going for the Royals. He's 3-5. Of course, we don't care about records when we're talking about starting pitchers. But his ERA is 3.45 with 45 strikeouts.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going up against Davis Martin or Martine if you are of Hispanic descent. Um, He's a right-handed pitcher. He's 2-6. Of course, we don't care about records, but we do care about the ERA, and that is 3.67 with 41 strikeouts. So look for the Royals and White Sox. I'm trying to make it 5 in a row, to make it my record 8-3. Are you the same or?
Yeah, we're the same.
Uh, okay. For some reason, I thought I was blowing you out of the water, but
You
you probably just been cheating. So, um,
you were for like the first week and a half.
yeah. I started off 2-0, and then I lost three straight, and now I'm on a 4 game winning streak.
Yeah, that's where I
Which I
caught up.
would, I'm not putting real money on this, which I should be, but I'm retired for right now. But anyway, um, those are the Nerfy selections of the day. We might want to start putting those out on Twitter. I'm not sure. I keep thinking like we should, but then people should tune in for them. But like maybe I don't know. Anyway, um, check us out at newleafnews.network.com. Both of them take you to the same great site. We have daily content. Shout out to our writer Marie Foster. Hit like 600 views
That's what
plus.
700 the other day. It was insane.
Yeah, on one of her horoscope articles. Check out what's going to happen to you if you're going to die in the month of June. Or if someone's going to put some voodoo witchcraft on your ass, or whatever you're going to do. So check us out at New Leaf News on Instagram, Facebook, X. Obviously YouTube here live. If you are watching the show, subscribe, like, tell your friends. We are live Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays for the most part at 7:30 Eastern time. We usually run about an hour. We're running a little late today, but sometimes you get a lot to talk about. Check out my other show, 64-Bit Legends, wherever you can get podcasts. Even if you go to the New Leaf News website, you can see our most recent episodes on the Pods and More section. And we are also on Instagram and X at 64-Bit Legends. Same two platforms at Bobby Kaboose, at Lawson _1226. Again, he's
Fuck's
6
sake.
months away from his birthday. I know it's a pain in the ass the day after Christmas, but get him a Sonny Gray shirt. Get him that's on the top of his list. He'd like it sleeveless. He would just like to wear a sleeveless Sonny Gray shirt. Either with his face or his number on it, preferably his face and his number on it.
His number on his
So
forehead.
yeah. So, his Amazon wish list keeps growing. Check him out on X and Instagram. He knows what he's talking about as far as betting. So check out his betting articles. Again, for New Leaf, we got horoscopes. We have entertainment, sports, betting. We're not just sports and like we like to talk about here. We try to make a variety of things. I'm just rambling at this point. But check us out on all socials. Follow us, especially if you are entertained. But other than that, man, have a great weekend. Lawson, you can take us out if you'd like because I'm tired of talking.
My ass. We're never tired of talking. As always, thank you so much for watching this episode of the Legends Clubhouse for New Leaf News and the Legends Clubhouse. I'm Lawson Turner. That's Bobby Kaboose, and we will see you beautiful people Monday morning. Once again, we hope you enjoy your weekend, and we will see you guys next week. And we will see y'all later. Peace.
See you Monday.